Hello, welcome. It's Monday. I don't know about you, but the time change always messes me up. So I love the spring forward. I don't love losing an hour of sleep, but um, but I love that it's light out later. I love that. It's so awesome. So this year, you are going to hear me talk about UFOs a lot. A lot. Because I think that we have a lot of people that have way too many UFOs. So that's what we're going to talk about here today. So do me a favor and leave it in the comments where you're joining me from. And we're going to just get right to it. Hello, Savannah. I hope you got some quilting done yesterday. Love it. Um, okay, so we're going to all cross our fingers and hope that all of the tech works. So give me just a minute as I move things around here on my computer, and then we can kind of get started. Okay, so this is going to be us getting real about our UFOs, right? So I would love for you guys to pop into the comments and let's be super honest. How many UFOs do we have, and why do they end up becoming UFOs? That's the big question. Why do they become UFOs? So let's talk about the three mistakes that are keeping us from getting our UFOs finished and how we can fix them. So what I want you to do is raise your hand if you've got just UFOs piling up, right? We all start projects with a lot of excitement, but somehow or somewhere they end up collecting dust instead of stitches. So I don't know about you, but I certainly don't walk into a quilt shop and say, what fabric can I buy for my next UFO, right? Because we all buy our fabric and we think, okay, this is going to go into a quilt. And you're not thinking that said quilt is going to end up in a pile that could tower above you. So why do they become UFOs, right? That's the problem. It's because of three sneaky mistakes that keep those projects from ever seeing the finish line. Okay? So, mistake number one is that you're actually over complicating the quilting plan, right? We look at it, we don't know what we're going to do. We've got this fear of actually ruining our quilt with the quilting. I get it. I've totally been there as well. So like the key here is to try and simplify that quilting plan, right? And breaking it down. So that's mistake number one. Please tell me you guys aren't doing mistake number one. Number two, I know many of you that do this. You will start new projects instead of tackling the UFOs, right? Look, again, we all start with a whole bunch of excitement for our current project. It's exciting, it's fresh, it's new. You just bought the fabric, you just bought the pattern, you can't wait to do it, versus the challenge of actually finishing something that you already started, right? So maybe that project, you've run into a snag. You didn't buy enough fabric. The pattern is harder than you thought it was going to be. You got to the quilting part and you have no idea what you're going to quilt on it. You don't like doing bindings, so you've got a pile of quilts that need binding. That's me. I am not a binding girl. So I have quite a few that are waiting for bindings. So we all have that thing, right? I'm already thinking about my next new project, and I've got projects that are in the works, and I'm trying really hard to stay on task to get those projects to the finish line so that I don't just have another UFO. So somebody needs to hold me to that. Mistake number 3 is you just don't have a step-by-step approach to moving forward, right? I know, Savannah, the bindings do totally stink. I'm totally with you. So when I talk about a step-by-step approach, it could be a variety of different things depending upon where in the quilting project you actually are. But making it simple is the way to go, right? Don't look at the pile of fabric and then think about the end piece. Like, break it down. I'm going to do 3 blocks today. I'm going to sew for 15 minutes. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that we can actually simplify the process. So let's take a couple looks at that. So the first one, which is a quick fix for UFO overload. This one really helps me a lot, and I need to get back on it. I was sick for a while, so I didn't do much sewing. But if you can set a timer for 15 minutes a day and you just like focus on that, right? I don't know about you, but I would say, okay, I'm going to go down into my studio and I'm going to, stitch for 15 minutes. Ultimately, I don't know about you, but it ends up being a heck of a lot longer than 15 minutes because then you start to get into it. And those little small wins do add up, right? Does anybody do that now besides me? So I'm interested. So hop into the comments and let me know. I don't know why that my little pointer's floating around. Okay, so you want to limit your new projects. Now I know that many of you don't want to hear that. I certainly don't want to hear that. But before you start something new, right, finish or at least work on one of your UFOs. So before starting something new, say, okay, I'm going to get this UFO to this stage, whether it be I'm going to finish all the blocks, whether it be I'm going to finish the top, whether it be I'm going to come up with my quilting plan. Like, make sure that you work on the UFO before starting something new. And I know it's so much easier said than done. New patterns come out, new fabrics. It's like the whole squirrel effect. I totally get that. So the other one is making a decision now, right? Whether it's you're stuck at the quilting process and you're overthinking the quilting design, whether it's you aren't sure about what kind of thread you're going to use, whether it be like you're actually stuck in the middle of a piecing project and you ran out of fabric and you don't know what you're going to do next, right? So choose a simple and effective plan and just move forward with it. Making one small decision sometimes is just what you need. I know that really helps me a lot. Break it down, right? I say this a lot. Instead of looking at the whole project, set little micro goals. So I'm just going to piece this one block. I'm just going to quilt this one section. Now, I did this the other day when we were on our sew-in for the society. I needed to at least get the stitch in the ditch done on this one block and the background quilted, and I succeeded. I checked that off my list and I was able to say, okay, today was a productive day, and I could move on. So don't look at the whole project, just set small goals. I'm going to get into my studio for 15 minutes and this is what I'm going to do. I do find that if I don't have a plan for the day, then I don't get down into my studio. So if I wake up and I don't have it on my to-do list for the day that I have to, sew for 15 minutes or work on whatever, XYZ, it doesn't happen. So make sure that you have a plan for the day, and better yet, for the week. Like, where do you want your project to be by the end of the week, right? The next one was huge for me. And join a quilting challenge, a sew-in, or post progress pics to stay motivated. So I'm telling you right now, accountability works. The sew-ins that we have in the society are something that really help me to stay motivated and moving forward. And then posting progress pics is huge, whether you do it on my page, whether you do it on your own page, wherever you do it. But to hear other people talk about what you've created, what you're working on, that sometimes in itself is such a motivator to continue on and get it done, right? So again, for me, it was the sew-ins. They definitely work for me. So let's get those UFOs finished. This was a super short one today. Let's get those UFOs finished, right? That's the plan. We don't want a ton of UFOs at the end of this year. So if you want a full roadmap to finishing every quilt with confidence once you reach the quilting stage, make sure you grab your free spot in my webinar, UFOs to OMGs. And you can find that on my website, lisahkaye.com. You can also find that here on the Quilters Groove Rulers Facebook page. And then I will drop it in the YouTube description of this as well. So let me just quickly scroll over. Let's see, hold on. Let me do some moving around here. I'm gonna move this back over here. And then we're going to go back here. Here I am, hello. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of go through and look. Oh, thanks, Betty. I appreciate that. Betty says it's a great webinar. It was fun to put together. So yeah, so Savannah, you have 40 or so. That's a lot of UFOs, and I would definitely be very stressed out about that. So kudos to you for holding it together. So yeah, and so you agree with the binding. So Savannah, for bigger quilts, I always talk myself out of putting them on the long arm because of the time commitment. So I will say she's considering the zipper system to help with that. The zippers are really amazing. And I think for you, Savannah, maybe it's more of that you have a plan for the quilt before you actually load it. So I know you just got your computer. So even if you like laid out your UFOs, pick the patterns you wanted to do if you're doing all overs, and do those first. Do like the super easy ones first. The ones that aren't, the pattern isn't super time consuming. You'll feel a lot better. I used to do that when I was in business. I would do the really easy big quilts first in the beginning of the week, so I feel like I accomplished something, and then I would do the harder ones towards the end of the week. So I felt like I accomplished something for the week. And you're right, it is definitely, it's really nice to have dedicated sewing time via the sew-ins that we have at the society. So for those of you that don't know, we added sew-ins to the Creative Design Society, which is a monthly membership. And we have sew-ins on Sunday, Tuesday, and Fridays from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. And that's just really nice to get together. So the webinar is good for anybody that struggles with what to quilt on your tops. So if you've ever stood in front of your top and thought, I have no idea what I'm going to quilt on this, and then you resort to say like your tried and true all over or anything like that. So it's for everybody, whether you are on a sit down or a long arm. So it's for anybody that struggles with, I have no idea what to quilt on this. Thank you, Savannah, for that prompt. I appreciate that. Okay, so that's all I had for you today. I hope you enjoy it. I hope that we get some UFOs done. I think Janet from the society gave me an idea that I thought would be fun. So I'm working on that, on trying to get some of these UFOs done. And maybe it will spur you to also join in getting your UFOs done. So you guys have a fantastic day. And I probably won't be here next Monday just because I have, I'm traveling and I get home that day and I'm not sure what time I get home. So maybe not next Monday. So stay tuned and let's get those UFOs done. See you guys.